Hello everybody, it's Rich here. I'm going to show some 60s Psych albums. I got like 6 or so here. Hopefully I can get through them all in about 10 minutes or so. In the Summer of Love, which I believe was 67, I was 11 years old. When Woodstock happened, I was 13. So I remember that era. But I wasn't old enough to really, be part of it. And I kind of looked at that era through the eyes of a child, the optimistic eyes of a young child. And it's just an era that I'm very fond of. And well, let's just get started. I'm babbling. This first one here is Jefferson Airplane, Crown of Creation. This is their 4th studio album, I believe. It starts off with 3 really mellow songs, which is kind of unusual for Jefferson Airplane. First one is Lather. It's a gem. It was written about Spencer Dryden, who happened to turn 30. And one of the lyrics in the song, it says something like, he still likes to lay naked in the sand. And that's one thing that does differentiate me between, the hippie. I mean, I grew my hair out long in the early 70s, but I would never lay naked in the sand, man. Sand's a pain in the ass at the beach, if you ask me. And it comes on this inner sleeve, RCA Records. Really great album. The first song is a gem, like I said. Lather, it's a great song. The second song is In Time. It's not as strong as Lather, but listening to the song, you realize how great musicians they are. I mean, Paul Kantner, he's the rhythm guitarist, and he's as good as most obscure Psych band's best guitar player. And the bass playing is just fantastic. The drumming in this, you can really see the jazz background of Spencer. The third song is Triad, which was a David Crosby song, and it's said that is the song that finally broke where he left the band, because they didn't want to put that song on their album. It's about a threesome, a young woman in love with 2 guys, and they're having an affair, and all 3 of them love, each other. And that's another thing where I kind of differ with that kind of whole ethic or ethos. To me, when you're talking about 3, there's always going to be someone that's getting the short end of the stick. But anyways, this is a great album. The first rocker is the 4th song, and that's what is it called? Star Trek. But it's a great album. This is a really cool album. This album sounds like what acid would sound like. Now this next album, a lot of times in these videos you hear people make comments like, "Oh, this album has hints of Psych." Well, this one doesn't have hints of Psych. This one is Psych all the way through. And it's J.K. and Company, Suddenly One Summer. This is a great album. Just a great Psych album. I mean, it is just Psych all the way through. I was jazzed when I found this album. I ranked this up there with that Presidents of the United States of America. No, United States of America. The United States of America album that I bought about the same time last year. I bought this one this year. And one interesting thing on this is the guitar isn't really featured until the last song on each side. But great Psych album. and it's on White Whale Records. Now this next one, Peanut Butter Conspiracy. This album, it's not as, this is their first album, and on first listen, I would say I like side 2 better than side 1. I think the first Psych song on the album isn't until the 8th song, which is a song on side 2. Yeah, I like side 2 better than side 1. I've only listened to it once though. The first song, It's a Happening Thing. That was a single, and it's a pretty catchy song. It has a good groove to it, good beat, good vocals, good guitar. The second song though, Then Came Love. When that song came on, alarms started going off. I mean, it has some cheesy ass, what do you call it, middle of the road string arrangements and vocal harmonies. I mean, it's not that good. And a lot of these songs, it's almost like they're trying to go for that Mamas and Papas sound. It's not a bad album, but it's not as good as their second. And this is on Columbia 2i. Now this next one here definitely is an album that has hints of Psych. It's got the Green Tambourine. It's the Lemon Pipers, Green Tambourine. I love that song. I loved that song when I was a kid. Apparently they weren't too thrilled with recording that song, which to me, I don't know, it's the strongest, I think it's the best song on the album. There are some other songs on the album that are pretty good, but it's not a great album. I think the song right after or right before, I can't remember now. It's been a while since I heard this one. There's a few other Psych songs on here though. The first song on side 1, I believe that was a single also. Rice is fine. Rice is nice. I mean, it's okay, but it's not as good as Green Tambourine. It's on Buddha Records. This next album though, great album. The Eyes of the Beacon Street Union by the Beacon Street Union. Boston band. Really cool album cover, really great. This is another really good Psych album. It's not quite as good as J.K. and Company, but I like it a lot. In fact, there's one song on here, I believe it's Mystic Morning. If you listen to that album, if that song would have came out in the early 80s, they would have said it's post-punk. But great album. I dig it a lot. And this is the inner sleeve, and it's on MGM. Same label as the Ultimate Spinach, part of that Bosstown sound. And the last album I'm going to show is SF Sorrow, The Pretty Things. This is the US version. Very cool album. This is a pure Psych album. This is supposedly the album that influenced Pete Townsend in writing the rock opera Tommy. He kind of denies that. I don't know why. But I think as a story or whatever, this works better than Tommy. I'm not saying it's a better album or greater album. I think it is. I think Tommy, as a double album, it doesn't work as good as it could have. Maybe as a single album. I've said that before, but this is a really great Psych album. Kind of, you can hear a lot of Beatles in it though. And it's on Rare Earth Records. Like I said, it's the US version, but it's a great, all these albums are in mint, well they're not mint, they've been played, but they're in excellent shape. And that's it. Merry Christmas. Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And for those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas also. Take care, guys and gals. Oh, my knees are cracking.